Well, I don't know if you heard about 29 people who reportedly practice holistic and naturopathic medicine were found to be poisoned to an extreme extent. They had a conference over in Germany. Somebody must have put something in their food. A lot of them were near death. And this goes along with the holistic doctors in the USA that have been, I don't know, it looks like they were killed. I'll say that. There is a concerted effort by the powers that be to freaking quash this type of medicine. Now, I'm going to get on a couple things at the end of this video that are not really controversial at all. They will be amongst certain spiteful people, I know that, but they're not controversial, actually, that they're actually proven to be correct. But a lot of people had racing hearts, cramps, a lot of life-threatening conditions. This happened in Germany, 29 of them all at once. You might have heard this news, maybe you didn't hear this news or whatever. But, you know, it also goes along with the Dr. Mengele type attitude. You know, we're seeing this New World Order garbage coming out, and you could see what they are in favor of. Vaccinations and partial birth abortions. There's no doubt about where this is heading. You know, they wrap themselves up in authority and science. That's what they wrap themselves up in. But actually what it is, when you start digging down deeper and deeper, what they are really about, they are pure evil. They're pure evil people. That's really what it... And actually, you know, it's been known a lot of times that nature can pretty much cure pretty much anything. Pretty much. If you know what to use. And it has to be something strictly from nature. Actually, one of the ones that coined the phrase orthomolecular medicine was Dr. Linus Pauling, two-time Nobel Peace Prize winner, you know, renowned chemist. You could say, yes, he was not a medical doctor, but, you know, the problem is with a lot of these things, there are people that are using their credentials and scientific background in one manner. Now, Linus Pauling, I say, is 100% honest. You could say, well, he died of cancer at age 93, but he lived to be 93. Most people do not live to be 93. He was practicing what he preached. Yeah, you can argue this all day, but I take a lot of vitamin C, I know that, and I think it's a very helpful thing to do. But there are a lot of people out there on the internet that are actually working in concert with the evil powers to squash this type of information. But we're looking at looks like there's absolute evidence to show that there's definitely people being poisoned deliberately to kill them, or we also have outright murders going on amongst holistic doctors. Now, I was going to bring this issue up before, but you know, another thing just happened. 29 holistic practitioners were poisoned. And I saw this a few days ago or so, but it's going along with a lot of different things. Now, the vitamin C that Dr. Linus talks about, it's not really a vitamin, it's a hormone. It's a hormone found in the animal world. I went over this on many videos. Actually, a goat had produced the most vitamin C per kilogram or per pound in its body than any other animal in the world, and any veterinarian will tell you it's the one that gets the least sick. And you can say, well, that's due to other factors. Well, maybe not. You know, because vitamin C is the only thing that when it gives up its electron, depending on what type it is, sodium exorbate or calcium exorbate has one electron to donate, or ascorbic acid has two electrons to donate. What is remaining is totally inert to the body. It's one of the few things that is an antioxidant that after it gives up its electron, or two electrons, depending on what type of vitamin C it is, the remainder is absolutely inert and benign to the body. And it can actually recycle itself if you're taking NAC and acetylcysteine. So it is actually a powerful hormone. It's known to actually detoxify. It's an absolute virucide, antiviral. But it has to be in sufficient quantities. You know, it's been shown and proven that intravenous vitamin C has done miracles. But you'll never see Dr. Mengele freaking push that. The current types. Now, I'm putting this out for a reason. Now, there's other things that we know about frequencies that can shatter microbes. I went over extensively on how John Crane, Rife's assistant, came up with the pad-type frequencies derived from the original Rife frequencies. Actually, I'll put that link on this video so you can see what the heck I'm talking about, because it took some work to actually come up with those numbers, how he was actually coming up with his, 727 would be one of the frequencies that was derived from an original Rife frequency. 727.5 would probably be more accurate. But 2008, another one that was derived from an original Rife frequency. But Rife, Dr. Rife, he's not a doctor, actually. He was actually a machinist, and we call him Dr. Rife for some reason. But he's an intelligent person. He's an intelligent person who methodically repeated these experiments over and over and over again. There's something to this technology. It's not snake oil. It's definitely not endorsed by the medical world. But we can also see that a lot of these inventions, such as the Georges-Lakhovsky multi-wave oscillator, were inspired by Nikola Tesla. And, when you're using something like the violet ray, they call it a quack device now by the medical world since 1952. But it is used extensively in a higher-end cosmetic world for healing the skin. It makes you wonder, could it heal more than that? It's a dumbed-down, let's call it a Tesla coil, which basically was what the multi-wave oscillator that Georges-Lakhovsky developed, which used 3 Tesla's coils in the box itself that you adjust that sends the signal. Then it had a receiving unit and a sending unit, which were Tesla coils with a copper array of antennae. Now, it's all using frequencies. That's what I was saying. Now, the thing is, you got to watch, because I know there's been disinformation agents out there like Dr. Robert Beck, Bob Beck, a government troll. That's what he was. He had a great freaking personality. He knew how to present stuff. Hulda Clark did not have the charismatic personality, but Hulda Clark backed up her work thoroughly with documented evidence on dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of actual cases. So, there's something to holistic medicine and also healing with frequencies. So, let me put it to you this way. There is a plot out there, and when the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which looks like it's on the way to being passed, ever does get passed, the airwaves on the internet are going to be silenced on this type of information. So it's important to get it out there now. So just want to put this out here right now because there's a lot of evil in this world, and it's coming from people like, I don't know about Germany, man. I'll tell you one thing. I could never figure why, the Jewish businessmen I work for buy their damn cars, man. I would not buy their cars. It wouldn't have shit to do with them, to tell you the truth. A lot of Jews living over there. I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not Jewish, but I just see the light. I see the light. It's a mentality of us, we lord over you. That's what they're about. But science and intellect being used for evil purposes. Dr. Mengele versus Dr. Linus Pauling and Royal Rife that we have here in the USA. So anyway, I just want to put this out because it looks like there's a very strong, concerted effort to kill the naturopaths. There definitely is. When you have, more than a dozen die in the United States recently, then you have this meeting in Germany, and 29 of them are almost dead. They nearly died. They nearly died. You could tell, if they weren't maybe so strong and healthy from their practicing their holistic type procedures, if it was a normal person, most of them would have died. Well, you could tell that something else is going on here. And the powers that be are, looking to squash the truth. That's absolute fact. But the powers that be do not necessarily come out like in a way that, here I am, the authority, like Dr. Mengele would do, or something like that. No, they don't necessarily do it like that. They candy coat their lies. The one person I could think of that is something really fishy with, that I see as a real evil person. I think he is. It's my opinion. Is Dr. Peter Duesberg. I don't think when he's putting out that stuff, he's telling you that AIDS was a harmless retrovirus. I honestly think he damn well knows better. But you know what? It is a harmless retrovirus for 10% of the Germanic and Nordic peoples. 10%. What does that go along with? Does that not go along with the Nazi ideology? We just want the strongest to survive. It is absolutely 100% fatal to the Southern Europeans, the French, the Latinos, the blacks, the American Indians, the Chinese, the Japanese. But 10% of the Nordic, Germanic, European, blonde types, they're immune. You almost think where the hell that disease was concocted from. I'll put it out here like this because, I know some people are already trolling me, so I'm going to put it out. I'm going to be a little stronger on this video because I smell something up with this whole damn thing. The elite blatantly state on the Georgia Guidestones on the first tenet to keep the population of humanity at 500,000 or below. Ted Turner himself says 300 million, 500 million or below, and Ted Turner says himself 300 million. You got a lot of people in academia saying, I wish there was a airborne Ebola virus that would wipe out millions and millions of people because there's just too many people on this earth. Where do you think this shit's coming from? The most scientific minds, isn't it? The brightest, the best, the Dr. Mengeles of the world. I'm going to tell you unabashedly, I know Jews aren't perfect, but I stick up for them because I understand what the hell the real true mission is. It's to elevate humanity and fight evil. That's what it is. Whether they do that or not in every case, I know that's very much arguable. But in my case, I'm carrying the torch the way it should be, and it's against the kind of shit that's coming down the pike. So, hats off to Dr. Linus Pauling and Royal Rife because those are two individuals that have really paved the way. One would be more in naturopath type things. Vitamin C actually goes back to the 1940s when Dr. William Frederick Kleiner was using it extensively to freaking heal people. Extensively. He cured 60 out of 60 polio patients before Jonathan Salk came out with the vaccination. I know people on my channel have already heard this several times. It's got to be in sufficient quantities, and usually the only way to get that is intravenous. But oral vitamin C helps. It helps somewhat. Somewhat. Don't expect a miracle out of it, but it can help. I mean, Linus Pauling living to be 93 wasn't bad at all. At all. Most people don't live to be 93. Royal Rife, he cured cancer every freaking time when he got his device perfected. He used it hundreds of times on mice before it was experimented with on humans, and it was experimented with on humans with the best medical professionals in the whole country. It's technology that's not bullshit. I know the frequency list that's from the Consolidated Annotated Frequency List. Some of the main ones are actually come from John Crane, Royal Rife's assistant. They're not anywhere near as effective as the original McCoy Rife frequencies, but they are derivatives of it, and if you get cheap enough technology you want to try, it's probably worth it. Because people will charge you $150 to read a graph that took them 10 minutes to freaking read. Medical is the biggest freaking ripoff on the planet. And it's about total control. That's what's going on. So, one of the cliches out there is take charge of your health. But, the other problem is you got to watch the alternative health world, because I noticed a lot of them are full of shit, too. Big time. Big time. So anyway, just want to put this out here because there's a major concerted effort to actually kill off the best naturopath and holistic doctors on the planet. There's no BS about it, which tells you their methods actually work. And you know what? It's all about money and control. If you can actually find a secret, I'd say this, versus the technology with the frequencies, you might want to try that if you want to. I've been experimenting with it. But the safest bets are the vitamins. But then again, you could find Harvard research papers saying this and that conflict with each other. Oh, and I just want to put this one caveat out here about vitamins when you see all these studies. When you see studies about, say, vitamin E does this, and in other cases it doesn't work, almost every single time, I'll give you an example with vitamin E, almost every single time it's because one is the synthetic form and the other is the natural form. The natural form worked, the synthetic form did not work. Just like lycopene in prostate cancer. Lycopene from the tomato works. Like they have a brand name called Lycomato. It does actually help with prostate cancer. Lycopene, the synthetic form, when people argue left and right that it absolutely is the same thing, well, something's different about it. I don't know what, but something's missing. Something is missing. It has absolutely no effect on prostate cancer. Lycopene, that's artificial. Lycopene from the tomato does have some effect. There's been a lot of studies that show that. And if you need to find those studies, the internet's available. It's right there. But that's where they confuse people about it does work, it doesn't work, it does work, it doesn't work. A lot of times they're not comparing the same thing. They're comparing synthetic, made in a lab, and they're saying, oh, it's the same exact thing. Well, yeah. No, it isn't exactly the same thing. There's something different about it. And don't let the Dr. Mengelas that are hiding behind their scientific and engineering credentials and their intellect fool you. Because they're evil minds. They're evil minds. That's what it's coming down to. And the only people that are going to survive are the ones that are fighters and the ones that actually think on their own.